put this on start recording. Okay, can people still hear me? I've just lost sound. I don't know if people can still hear me. Just let me know, please. Yeah, okay.
Sounds okay to me.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, how many people we got in? 44 so far. All right. Okay, so this is the last week, yeah. Let's just see if there's any questions in here. Are these being recorded? Yeah, I'll always be recording webinars. Sometimes I forget, but Robert's always in the background as a backup and doing a great job for me, remembering to record. All the webinars on this page down here, Dill. If you just go to anthonyhayes.me, recommends PBN replays. They're all there. I'll keep them up there for about another 1 month, and then I'm going to put this course into Udemy. So it's there for about a month for you to go through and see. And PBN Masterclass people, apologies for yesterday. I had to do a visa run on Sunday that I really wasn't expecting. I thought I didn't have to do visa runs anymore after I got a business visa. And I got a call the day before saying, you need to go for your visa tomorrow. So I had to just run on a bus. But I put a lot of videos into PBN Masterclass yesterday, start to finish videos. And they're very, very good. I think some of the content's fantastic in there. Right, so this week I don't really think we're going to have to spend a huge amount of time on what we're sort of going to cover this week. It's basically about monetization, but the monetization is really about creativity as far as I'm concerned. Now, you know, a few weeks ago I was ready to quit the whole internet marketing product creation stuff. And what I was going to do was this. This is why this course came about, because this is what I was going to do. I was going to do the PBNs, and I was going to sort of flip them or sell them or build them for corporate clients, okay? Now, to be able to do that, then this is going back to when I used to do local SEO. And when I was doing local SEO, what I used to be very, very good at was going after the big clients, okay? I didn't want those little guys. I found that they'd suck too much of my time. They didn't give me the things that I needed to get. And I'll give you an example of one of the clients that we had. We had a recruiting company, a staffing company. They flew us from Europe over to their offices, put us in a hotel for 2 weeks, and we built 64 sites for them. And that was to cover every city that they had in the US, okay? That's the kind of clients that we used to have. And with that in mind, you know, and with those connections still around, I was going to do the PBNs for them in very, very, very competitive niches. And that meant doing it at maybe one level up from what we've been seeing with the sort of PBN sites that we can get according to the age domains that we're selling from my main site, okay? They wouldn't be $50 domains. They were going to be hundreds of dollars domains to thousands of dollars in costs, so that you could buy something really, really extremely powerful. But the thing with the PBNs is that it's such a powerful strategy, and it's only as powerful as you want it to be, okay? So if you want to make it really powerful, then as long as you're doing the right things at the right times, you're not leaving footprints, you're putting in quality content, you're not making it look spammy or automated and stuff like that, then you have a very, very good network of sites that are going to be there for the long term, okay? And you can build them out as much as you want. Now, there's two ways to go with them. If I just do a quick recap, there's two ways to go with them. You can build small PBNs and many, many of them, or you can build fewer, but with the same effort and probably a little bit less money as well. You can build out fewer ones with better quality content, more content, and build them into authority sort of sites themselves, okay? The key is to be able to really get this down, to make it really, really fast and really, really quick. I know that a lot of people are going to start asking questions about the Cloud PBN and stuff. It's fine. I will answer that towards the end. We will do a Q&A at the end, and I'll tell you exactly what I think of that particular tool. I think it's got potential, but he did it back to front. But I bought it myself just because of the potential it's got. But his strategy is back to front. Anyway, so what we can do with the monetization for these, okay? I mean, the obvious things that come to mind is that you can do things like the done-for-you services. So if you added some adverts in places like Digital Point, Black Hat sites, in Warrior Phone Classifieds, etc. You could be selling either done for your PBN services, you could be selling links from there, but I would be very, very careful if you were going to do that. I would make sure that you've got a very, very strong network, and don't add that many links. In fact, it would just cost too much. It wouldn't be affordable for the sort of typical WSO type of person. You would be looking at not adding too many links, which puts the cost up, because the less you've got to sell, then the higher the price has to be, basically. And you can do things like ads on your own site. So you can go to places like buysellads.com, and you can tell people, you know, I've got a domain authority money site or whatever, I've got a PBN behind it, I've got a bunch of traffic going there, so you can make money from doing that as well. I would rather keep the ads off the PBN sites. I would rather keep anything on them to myself. But the sole purpose doesn't have to be just for backlinking. But anyway, for the backlinking purpose, we always do it just for the traffic, and so we have to think, all right, what do we want to do with that traffic? What is the sole purpose of that money site? What are we going to do with it? But the way I've been teaching to do stuff in the PBN Masterclass is basically to build little authority sites, and with those, they're going to have their own sort of revenues built in as well, and hopefully pull the money back that was spent on them. Okay, so if you want to go, if you want to take a PBN with this, you've got to plan it out. What I'm trying to say is this: you've got to plan it out first. Okay, you've got to understand what is your monetization going to be. You've got to understand what is the one good thing that site is going to do. That money site, that PBN site. Each one should have its own purpose. Okay, whether it's going to be for list building, whether it's just for link building, whether it's for just for content marketing. If you look at things like Search Engine Land, for example, they've probably got a service behind that they're doing SEO services, for example, but the primary goal of Search Engine Land is just to make a really, really great content marketing site and to become an authority within that particular niche, and it has, but you're not really seeing services being offered there. What they're doing then is they're monetizing via the sheer amount of traffic, because they're attracting attention. It's the Kardashian factor. They don't really have, Kardashians don't really have any particular skills, etc. But what they have got is attention, and because they've got attention, people will pay huge amounts of money to get endorsed for products and stuff like that. It's the same thing when you've got a sort of very, very good content marketing site. You can charge a lot of money because you've got that attention, because you've got that traffic. Okay. And it's there long term as well, so you start to build your own following and stuff like that. So for the monetization for all of these, you need to think out what you want to do for yourself, and it really would depend on the particular niche. Now, what I've found over the last 3-4 weeks when we've been doing the PBN Masterclass is it's far, far easier to do PBNs in niches that you understand. Okay, I've been waiting on content. I've been sending content back that I got. I didn't like it. It was not good. I actually got better content using Article Builder than I got from some people that I paid for content, and I've taken sometimes, Article Builder content and written parts of that, and those kind of things you have to take into consideration. So if you start to do stuff in a niche that you understand, at least for your first PBN, it's going to make a huge difference to being able to take it to the end and make sure that you actually get it done. Okay. For example, what I did in the PBN Masterclass, I had one site that was real estate. I don't really know anything about real estate, so what I did, I just sort of scrapped that whole one. I started again. I built a new PBN. I had a really good sort of .com domain as far as a kind of exact match domain. I know it's not so important anymore, but it was a nice domain. And I built it up, and it took me, 3 days to build it up. And I've now got the beginnings of what could be, possibly a very, very good site if I want to take it further into a sort of an authority site later. And that content I just wrote myself. Yesterday I put some videos on PBN Masterclass, and they saw me writing an article basically in 10 minutes, just because it's coming from my head and very, very easy for me to do. Okay, but if you can do that, even just one of those sites every week, and just, add one article a day, then you're able to build these things up slowly and naturally, but consistently, and you can focus on one at a time, then go on to the next one and just build them out really, really nicely. And, within a few weeks, you're going to have a pretty strong network if you're getting decent aged or expired domains to be able to do that. Okay. Obviously, you can do things for your own products. You can do things for affiliate offers, for affiliate marketing. And another thing that you could consider to do as well is team up with other people and build some networks between you so that you can build up power pretty quickly. And you can do that whether it's geo-targeted for local businesses or you can do it within a particular niche. So if you're doing affiliate marketing, for example, like in a sort of health-based niche, you could really do a PBN just about the health stuff, whether it's diets, whether it's weight loss, whether it's exercise, fitness, yoga, whatever. It would make perfect sense to have those kind of sites connecting together. So you could, have 3 or 4 people tackling one major niche in different ways, in different sort of sub-niches, which are also massively big as well. If you think about, for weight loss, it's massive. If you think about things like yoga, it's really, really popular. If you look at some of the stats for yoga sites and things like that. And, to be able to get these things up and running between 3 or 4 of you, it's a good way as well because you're kind of holding each other accountable because you promised to do something and other people will hold you accountable as well. So I really think that's a very, very good way to go for a lot of people. And PBN Assassin, when it comes out, should be very, very soon. But when it comes out, it's going to give you that ability that you can actually set up your own networks within the system as well. Okay, so I would definitely consider that one as a very viable option, both for being able to do things affordably and to do things really, really quickly, as long as the people that are within that network are able to deliver what they say they will. Okay, because if you get somebody who doesn't do what they're supposed to do, it puts you in a little bit of a tight spot, and probably you end up falling out with people, and that's happened to me a lot of times when I've tried to get people to team up to do stuff. Okay. Another thing you can do is something similar to what I'm going to be doing with the PBN Assassin. That's to do some kind of a membership, okay? So if you're doing a membership, what you can do, the idea behind this is that you're going to build a certain amount of PBNs every month, okay? So if you say, for example, you were going to build 1 PBN per week, and you got this system down, and you did a membership where you said, okay, I'm going to take X amount of people, it's going to cost you this amount of money, and we were going to do the PBNs. And we're going to do 1 per week. By the time, after 3 months, you're going to have 12 good PBNs in there. Maybe even more if you can do them faster, okay? But I would definitely keep to about 1 per week. And you could do a nice little membership like that, a really, really tight community, okay? And you can keep it nice and controlled as well. For the community PBNs, I sort of mentioned PBN Assassin. For businesses, now what I used to do, for businesses, I used to go to those websites that had businesses for sale, okay? And you will find there a whole bunch of franchise people, and you will find the opportunity there to be able to connect with, those franchise organizations and say, look, this is what I do, and this is how it can work for you. And you've really, really got to put it in a way that they understand, and that's all about return on investment. This is all about being able to get traffic at the end of the day. It's not about getting really great backlinks. It's not about getting really fantastic SEO. It's about traffic. That's all they want. They just want the benefit. They don't give a crap about all the terminology and stuff like that for SEO. In fact, they don't even understand it, and they think that you're just taking up their time if you try to explain that to them. Okay, just always focus when you're dealing with the local clients on the benefits and nothing else. Okay. How long does it take? How much does it cost? What will they get after it's been done? What will the results, the benefits be for that particular client if he takes up that particular offer? And the good way to do that as well is to go for really, really competitive niches, things like car dealers. Okay. Now we know that car dealers, for example, they do a lot of microsites. So they're kind of building PBNs in their own way, but they're always doing it from the same kind of hosting and stuff like that. If you go to if you go one level up from the little car dealer, or even if it's a big car dealer within your city, if you can try and go one level up to where these people get the car dealer licenses or whatever, I've never done car dealers like this before, but I'm just suggesting that this would be the way that I would do it. I would be looking to be able to do it one level up, where you could get into a sort of corporate office and you could say to them, look, this is what I do. We can make, for keywords like, buyer keywords for cars, whatever, we can make those rank long term, and you could sort of set up something like that for them. And if you get 1 or 2 clients like that, you can make a lot of money, seriously a lot of money. You can be charging 5-6 figures for being able to do this, or you can do it on a monthly fee as well. Now, the monthly fee makes it easier to start with because you just promise 1 new site per week. And that way you just build up slowly, but you keep control. And you need to have a minimum, though, a sort of tenure for the contract, so that you're not wasting your time and theirs. Okay. The obvious thing as well is to sell the links. I kind of covered that. And the last thing is to flip networks. Now, I've never tried this on Flipper. No, I wouldn't. There's some other sites as well, similar to Flipper. I forget the name of it. There's one. I've forgotten the name already. I should have had it open today, actually. There's one in particular that sells websites that's not Flipper. It's very, very similar. If you're going to flip networks, you really need to show the traffic. You really, really need to show that you're ranking as well. So you need to put that stuff in place first, and then you can flip networks for a lot of money once they're built, because a lot of people don't know how to build them properly, or they've tried to build them and sort of gave up, or they didn't do them properly, they didn't get the proper effect. But if you can show the traffic and the rankings, then you can charge a lot of money for this, a serious amount of money for this, and it could be a full-time job just doing these things. And it's not that hard to do. They're really, really not that hard to do. It's just people don't understand how to do them or have the patience to see it through to the end. Okay. So basically that's all I really wanted to mention about the monetization. What I was going to do was definitely go for the bigger clients, go for the franchises, go for the sort of corporates, go for the big restaurant companies. I mean, there's a lot of companies who have got multi-locations. They can be franchises, or they can be sort of just multi-outlet companies. And I used to work for a restaurant company in the UK. At that time, we were the fastest growing restaurant company in London, and we were in UK actually. We were we were building one new restaurant, opening one new restaurant every single week in 1996. And it was just phenomenal. They got some funding. They had to do 100 restaurants in a year. I was pretty bummed out by the end of it, because I was their development chef. I was opening, I was, scheduling stuff and putting the teams together and training them and opening the restaurants. Then I would be in next week in a different place and have to start all over again. But those kind of companies still exist today. I mean, the growth of those kind of companies is phenomenal. And they like to be able to sort of take control of multiple markets as well. So it's not just franchises. You can do it as well for big companies like that. And you can look at the really competitive sort of niches. I don't know if anybody saw the interview I did with Holly, and she was talking about she sold a YouTube channel to an affiliate network. It's kind of similar. You can just find those kind of clients. You can pick them off and connect with them whenever possible, but really go for the big clients if you want to do a PBN service. You don't want to waste your time with the small guys. You really don't. Okay, so I think that's basically all I want to cover from this. Is Hugh here today? I came in late, guys. I'm sorry. I just came in a little bit late. Yeah, Hugh's in here. Hugh, is there anything that you want to add if you're here?
Not really.
Okay.
Seems like you covered it, brother.
Yeah. I mean, the monetization is really what you make it. I think the best way to do it is be creative. Just get communicating and talking with people if you're doing it on the local level. If you're doing it for your own products, it makes perfect sense, because you could dominate particular niches like SEO software and stuff, which is my plan, which is what I'm planning to do. I've already got 13 PBN domains right now, and I think we've built out we've done on average about one a week that we've built out. These are not the ones on the PBN Masterclass. These are separate ones that people will never know about, but we've built out one per week, and nicely as well. And, the good thing about it is, I've been testing and tweaking, and in the Masterclass we did a whole bunch of new videos yesterday. We've got a completely new silo structure. We've got in just really good things that we've been doing this week is tweaking and testing stuff, and you'll be surprised some of the plugins that would hold back your site. We've even gone in and tested a whole bunch of plugins, the cache plugins and all kinds of stuff like that, and we come out at the end of it with a pretty neat way of building these sites really, really fast And also we even put in a little template for really fast article creation. It's really, really good so that we can just keep knocking these out. So probably we can ramp it up to about 2 a week doing that particular strategy. So guys, if you've got any questions, you can ask me. And I'll take some questions now. So we got any questions? Nobody come? Okay, let's see.
I can't see the questions. So.
Yeah, I can see here. Sorry, let me see. There was one before that. Let me see. Martin, I'm speechless. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay. Do you do PBN for brick and mortar? You can do PBN for brick and mortar PBN. I don't do them for other people. I do them just for myself. I haven't got time. Maybe somebody listening to this wants to offer it to other people. So, you know, there's always people who come to these sort of events or webinars just for the information. But there's also another bunch of people that take the information and they use it. And, you know, maybe they can provide a service doing that kind of stuff. David asking if PBNs create traffic to themselves via good content, aren't they abusive? They're left, and they aren't abusive, and they're likely to be left alone by Google. Yeah, if you're building out really good sites, if you're building out really good content sites, then they can take a life of their own. There's no reason why they should not, and it doesn't take a huge amount of different effort between doing an authority site or doing, you know, 25 or 50 little PBN sites. You could easily do the same with 5 really good PBN sites or even 4. There's no reason why you can't. It's the same amount of content. Mark, what do I think about PBN, cloud PBN footprints? I haven't looked at the footprint part of it. I looked at the strategy. I looked at the technology. I like the technology. It's pretty similar to something that we're thinking to sort of semi-automate, but the strategy is back to front as far as I'm concerned. They are creating PBN sites and they're getting videos linking to these PBN sites, okay? PBN sites with sort of automated content. I would use those as a sort of second tier PBN, and I would be linking instead to a first tier video, sort of 5 out of 10 videos on the first tier from different YouTube channels. I would go back to my old sort of Tube SEO commando methods rather than use their strategy, which is creating different channels and a sort of network within YouTube, and it is very, very powerful if done properly. Okay. Struggling to buy edge domains. We have a service, and it's on the PBN replay page. You say, I think about after webinar 3, replay for webinar 3, you will see that we've got a PBN domain service. We got some pretty good ones actually. I bought 5 domains from somebody who's quite well known in the PBN niche, and I was actually disappointed with theirs compared to the ones that we get from the guy that's doing them for us. So they're pretty good. They're okay. They're workable. They've got a good backlink profile. They're not spammy backlinks and stuff like that, and they've got some decent authority and stuff in there as well. I had one of the cloud PBNers got delisted because it had a couple of issues creating footprints. Possibly that would happen, but you've got to think how to use a tool like that. If you're going to use a tool like that as a first tier PBN, then boy, that's a little bit too risky for me. Do the other way around. If they had done it that it was creating videos and using those sites to link to the videos or to link to, you know, other properties that you got, it would have made a lot more sense to me. Dale, you need to go over to the website, into the PBN replay page. I don't really want to do a sort of interactive sort of sales stuff here. For that, I don't mean to be rude when I'm saying that. It's just we got a lot of people asking questions about the PBN stuff. You can see here, AnthonyHayes.me recommends PBN replays. You can see in there, I think it's $50 each. They're doing them. Okay. Okay, and Dale saying hello, hi. And Martin, I still don't know what you're speechless about. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. David saying, I want to rank attorney sites. How many PBNs should I build? The answer is 1 a week. Okay, until you start ranking. Or, I would do probably maximum 5 at a time. I would do 1 a week, get to 5. What I would do is get the first initial content on there, and from that then I would go back and redo more content and just keep building those 5 up. You don't need to have, if I got links, for example, I had an SEO software site and I got links from, 5 authority sites in SEO niche, that would probably be enough on top of what's already a pretty good domain. The other thing you can do with them is to buy some H domains and do 301 redirects, which still does work. Okay, and so you can, even if you've got a brand new domain that's your money site, you can have a 301 redirect from an expired domain, redirecting to that. But I would probably do that with a better quality expired domain, one that would cost like hundreds of dollars or nearer thousands of dollars, rather than something that you can pick up for $10 or even $50, just to keep it really, really strong, that money site. So we covered the cloud PBN. I knew I was going to get asked that one today, so I'll just be honest with it. When will CG Bullets points come out? Dave, I think you're talking about PBN Masterclass. If yes, she has to go through every video and make a bullet point from everything that I've kind of suggested in there. So she can start adding it. I'll get her to do it in Google Docs, and she will just start adding it, and you can see it being updated in real time. That way it's easier, and we can all see the progress she's making as well, which kind of makes her more focused in getting the job done. But there's a lot of videos on PBN Masterclass, really seriously, a lot of videos there now, and I'm not finished yet. We're nowhere near finished. We've got a long way to go. Okay. When you buy these SEO domains, what is the method to 301 redirect? Well, you can do it on your sort of domain registrar. You can do it, and you need to do it as well in the Webmasters tool if you've already got your, if that's already been done. As far as the Webmaster site, I always do Webmaster tools for the sites I'm going to do the 301 redirect, but I keep them up a little bit before I do that. And you can do it via your htaccess file as well. You can get someone on Fiverr to do that for you if you want. Okay. What I think of rebuilding HTML from its archive.org history. David, what I've been doing in the PBN Masterclass, I think we might have covered it in these webinars as well, is looking at the Wayback Machine. Okay, this is what I've been doing. I've been looking at Wayback Machine. I've been looking to see if they've got any useful content, okay? If they've got any useful content, I'm creating pages with them, not posts, okay? And I'm getting those pages in there as early as possible, and I'm creating a home page from a mixture of that content if the homepage content they had was not that good. Okay, so I will create something maybe from their about pages, from different sort of categories that they had on the sites and stuff like that. I would just create maybe subheadlines and create a homepage, a static homepage, for the purpose of getting the site re-indexed quickly and to build some familiarity back in there. Okay, then I'm doing the silo structure from the posts, from the categories in the posts. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with using content that you can find on Wayback Machine. You can find some great stuff like videos from YouTube. You can find things like logos and things like that. You can find banners and all that kind of stuff. Some of the sites were actually quite good that I've found. I found one that's got real historical kind of value, as far as it used to be one of the first advertising associations in London. So you can find some really, really good sites, and they've got content that you really should consider keeping when you're building a new site out. David's saying, what about second tier videos and so on? If you're meaning for backlinking, we kind of covered the backlinking last week. Videos, they're such a good way to do tier 1 or tier 2 links, okay? I'd rather use them for tier 1. But good quality videos for tier 1. And the reason is that these sites can suck up a lot of backlinks themselves, okay? Like YouTube videos can suck up a lot of backlinks, even Hangouts can as well. If you put it into the, once it goes into the sort of replay page on YouTube, you will find that, you know, these kind of sites like Dailymotion, they rank very well on as well. And you can build a network between them as well. By doing that, you can sort of interlink, but you need to do it with different videos and not just the same video on a whole bunch of different sites. Isn't copy from Wayback Machine? Is it under copyright? Do they still exist? I don't know. I mean, if you're worried about that, then you know you can just sort of rewrite it. I don't. I just copy it word for word personally. They're not going to find me. I mean, seriously, I'm doing a PBN. I'm trying to make it that Google can't find me. And there's no chance that they're going to find me. We're using false names when we're registering and stuff like that. I don't really care. I mean, if you did tastefully, I think they will be okay. What I did with that particular site is I made the homepage the first paragraph about the historical value of that site and explained it. I'm redoing some of the content and adding more and trying to bring value back because it was too good an institution to let go, something like that. So it depends on how you do it. If you're worried about the copyright, then just you know, take the basic ideas from it and rewrite it. Just use your own mind and what you want to do, what you're comfortable doing. For me, I just copy word for word. I've even got contact details from before on one of them. Okay. Let's see what else we got in here. When you buy SEO domains, what is the method to? We've covered that one, Moses. We covered about the 301. Okay, so is the questions coming up the way? Okay, so I've been looking the wrong way around. Let's come back here. You're about to buy Alex Becker's PBN course. I don't know much about it, to be honest. I don't know if it's good, not good, whatever. I wouldn't give opinion on that one because I don't know. I think Alex is pretty switched on. He's been around a long, long time. Davison, using multiple videos on a page, don't add anything to the video sitemap, only the first one. That could possibly be true, but it depends on what the purpose of doing multiple videos might be. For example, I've got this replays page for these webinars. I've put everything in there. Okay, I haven't even done any backlinks. The only SEO done on that particular page is the social shares that people have done. Okay, absolutely nothing. But it depends on the purpose of your page. It depends on the purpose of that particular content. Is it meant to be for just thinking about the user experience, the user friendliness, or are you doing it for SEO purposes? If you're doing it for SEO purposes, then, you know, for something like I'm doing with that particular page, it would make a whole lot of sense to have one page talking about the replays and have another 6 sort of sub pages linking to it, something like that. But I'm not doing it for that purpose. The reason I put it onto the blog was to make it really simple and easy for people to access all the content all at one time without having to jump about from here to there to everywhere, and just make it really, really simple. So it depends on the purpose. If you're thinking about SEO value, then you might want to sort of diversify and create more pages, but each page still has to be optimized. Each page still has to have good content. You should follow up with additional information and things like that as well, okay? Joy, I'm surprised you're using Google Webmaster Tools when you're trying to keep your PBNs anonymous. Aren't you announcing ownership? That's a good question. That's a really, really good question. I'm glad you asked that. Let's see, something jumped there. Whose question was that, actually? Let's go back. That was Joy. Okay, there's 2 ways to look at this. Okay, if you're going to build out sort of authority sites, right now, if, for example, in the SEO niche, if I want to get the same sort of value from a PBN and I'm getting links coming from other sites, you would expect that they will have sort of got webmaster tools themselves, okay? You're not doing it all from the same Google account. You're doing it from different Google accounts, Okay, you're not doing it from same accounts, and it's really entirely up to you whether you want to do that or not. Okay, now we can sit and look for imperfections, but at the end of the day, you've got your own choice, your own mind, which way you want to go. Okay, so what I would suggest is, if you've got a site that makes sense, for example, I'm building out a PBN site right now. It's about search engine ranking services. Now, you would expect that site to have Google Webmaster Tools. In fact, if you didn't have it, maybe it's a bigger giveaway than not have, than actually having it. So what I will do is I'll put it onto Webmaster Tools in a different account, and I've got my guys in the Philippines who will go and do that for me, okay? Or I can go and do it myself. If you're worried about the IP thing, what you can do is you can just put it onto your spreadsheet, get HMA, hide my ass thing, and you can just use the VPN from that, and you can say, well, every time I log in into this site, I need to use HMA from Chicago, for example, and that one I need to use HMA from London, and that way I need to use an IP from somewhere else. There's always a way around it. Okay, so you've got to think a little bit more creatively maybe, but you can't never say, well, you shouldn't do that, it's written in stone, because it really isn't. It's really up to you how to get around things. It's what we're doing with SEO all the time anyway. I mean, even if we're building one sort of backlink for the purpose of getting backlinks, we're already breaking the terms of service. So if you want to sort of keep it really, really white hat, as they call it, then you're going to get dominated by other people. So just be creative. Think about the ways around it instead of the imperfections about it, okay? So if you get the mindset thinking, okay, I can see why he wants to do that, but isn't that a problem? Okay, how do we get around it? What's the best way to do it? So the things to get around it is to use virtual assistants to do it for you, to use HMA, for example, to use different Google accounts. There's always a way around, always, always, always. You've just got to be creative, and, you know, you've got to think about the site. If I'm building an SEO services site, you would expect that he will have Webmaster Tools. It would be really, really unnatural for an SEO services site not to have that. Okay, so you've got to take it in the context and work around from there. Okay, how can I view previous webinars? I think we answered that one. Moses asking, do we have a course? Yeah, we got PBN Masterclass. Moses, you can go into my site at anthonyhayes.me, go under the link for products, and you will see there. Okay. Do we have a Facebook group? Yeah, if you connect with me on Facebook, just connect with me. Facebook.com/Tony Hayes Thailand, and just send me a PM and friend me or whatever, and ask to go into the Facebook group. We've got one Facebook group for everything. I don't believe in jumping about all those different groups. I find it hard enough to keep up with the stuff I've got to do already. Yeah, Dennis didn't Google drop off the ship. So, yeah, look, what they've done is they've abandoned the author URL. Okay, that's where you had your little pictures on the search engines, okay, when you had your search engine results. What they have not dropped, what they have not abandoned is author rank, okay? Very, very important that you can distinguish that. Author URL, it probably wasn't giving them a good return on investment for the amount of resources and time to make it all work, and they didn't have a sort of high take-up on it because, in my opinion, they made it sort of difficult for people to understand, because even when people thought they had done the right things and they went into the snippets testing tool, they were getting this message that you have not connected. When they thought they'd followed everything step by step, they might have missed something like, you know, you need to authenticate your authorship with an email that comes from the domain that you're trying to get you put your sort of contributing to part on. So, for example, if I was going to do authorship for my particular site, anthonyhayes.me, then I should have something like Anthony Hayes at anthonyhayes.me kind of email, okay? Those kind of little things people were missing. They made it a little bit difficult for people, and, you know, for the normal SEO person, they would get around it, they would persevere with it, but the whole point of what Google was trying to do was trying to get everybody to do it, and it just made it a little bit too difficult. So it was just really the geeks that were getting the benefits of that, and I'm not even sure the benefits were anything extraordinary anyway. But author rank has not been dropped, okay? Author rank is about the quality of your content, about the social shares, about the interaction with your content. So if you look at people like Jeff Billis, for example, or you look at Real SEO, or you look at these big sort of authority figures, whenever they make a post, People come, they read it, they reshare it, okay? So if, for example, somebody like that, they make a sort of tweet on Twitter that they've got a new post, then people will retweet that. Okay, so they're getting reshares and things like that. So we've got a tool that actually replicates that. It's called Social Traffic Commando. It replicates that as near as we can possibly get it to doing those reshares. And it has accounts as well. It has account creators as well, which is really, really cool. And that was the purpose of that particular tool. So I forgot what the original question was. Anyway. Yeah, it was about Google author rel. The author rel, it doesn't matter that it's been dropped, but the author rank is what matters anyway. It always did. Okay, so if you can get somebody like that retweeting for you any of your content, say for example you did something like top 5 SEO guys to follow sort of thing, and you mentioned Rusty Brick, you mentioned this guy, you mentioned that guy, send them a tweet, tell them that you mentioned, and the chances are they will retweet you, which gets you a bunch of traffic. Okay. Ever heard of Charles Float? I've heard the name, Mark. I can't place where that name was from, but I've definitely heard the name. Martin saying there's away for summer travels. I still have to view all the webinars. Okay. Just put questions into the comments. I know there's been sort of comments not answered in there yet because I've been really, really busy. When I get busy, I like to just lock myself away and you know, I've got a support team behind me to do a whole bunch of stuff. When I need to get work done, I need to get it done. Otherwise, the people asking, you know, when is this going to be done and when is that going to be done are the same people who are, you know, get into chats and conversations. And what they don't realize is there's another 20 people doing the same thing at the same time and things don't get done. So, you know, if there's any delays in comments being answered, don't worry about it. I will get in there, but I want to get in there when I've got a clear mind to answer properly, okay? Let's see. Mark, no, you can't have a PBN built for $50 if you can get an expired domain for $50. You could, you know, if you write your content yourself, and yeah, why not? But you need to buy the hosting. It needs to be on a separate hosting every time. Okay. I think we cover most of the questions. How do you investigate deep web content and how to get it? Okay, let me try and understand what you mean by deep web content, John. When you're doing content, okay, there's some basic things we want to do. You can start off by thinking about what solutions you're going to provide to a problem. Okay, we actually got a little tool, should be out this week, a free one that was for Commander Tube tool site, which is going to be moved over to the new site. But it's a question finder. It searches some questions sites like Quora and places like that, and also some forums. It looks for questions. So what you want to do is start with, you know, is it providing a solution to a question that's been asked quite a lot? Okay, that's probably the best way to start. Okay, and if you start from that, then you're going to find a lot of people more likely to be looking for sort of commercial reasons for searching for that keyword. So how do I cure acne, for example? They want to find a solution and probably willing to pay for it. That's the whole point of us doing internet marketing. So if you want to talk about the content creation in that sort of sense, that's where I would start from. And then look at places like BuzzSumo, see what's the most popular social shares and sort of headlines that's been shared in there. Have a look in Twitter as well for examples of great headlines. They've got 140 characters to work with, and take out of that the URL, you've got even less. And those guys know how to create really compelling headlines with very, very few characters. Have a look in there and just, you know, go and search. You know, use tools like Follower One to find the sort of influential people within a niche on Twitter, and just look at the headlines. You get some great ideas for the headlines, and you can start building your content out from there. Things like lists will work really, really well. How-tos, top 3 ways to do this, 10 top ways, or 10 secrets to this or that. Numbers work really well. Create the curiosity or something like controversy. If you go over to Copyblogger, and you will see they've got some great free giveaways there, teaching you things about writing copy, writing headlines, getting ideas for that kind of stuff. And you're just building your content out, but always make it user-friendly. Always start from user-friendly, end with user-friendly. In between, you can look at sprinkling various keyword phrases that even Google will tell you how to optimize if you're using the keyword planner, if you're using the grouped kind of keywords. So we don't go chasing keyword density anymore, but what we can do is we can use those group keywords in a similar kind of way, and that way we can build a content out that's making a lot of sense. Without it looking too spammy, but everything needs to look natural and should do. Okay. George asking, does anyone do monetization on the PBN site itself? The way that we teaching to do it in the PBN masterclass is to do authority PBN sites, okay, and that means doing some good content in there. And basically what you can do with the PBN sites, what you've got to remember as well, is we can go a little bit broader with them, okay? So I've got, for example, one PBN site that's about SEO, okay, it's about SEO services. I've got another one that is a publicity agency kind of site, okay, in London, for example. They're kind of broadly related because there will be some crossovers for SEO stuff in there, because when you're talking about publicity, then you're going to be talking about online marketing. As we come into 2015, it's just getting stronger and stronger. Mobile marketing, all that kind of stuff. It leaves plenty of opportunities for you to be able to link back. And also with that comes the opportunity to build really good content within that sort of sub-niche that site is about. And yeah, you can monetize that content too. There's no reason why you cannot, if you build it out nicely. And what I suggest you do is that you build out, a few really good quality articles, and you just build some, quite good quality backlinks to them as well, and focus on the relevancy more than the sort of numbers of backlinks. Focus on relevancy and really good quality backlinks. But we covered that a couple of weeks ago, I think, the backlinking. Okay, so any more questions? Carrie asking, do you have any suggestions for building a local PBN focused on a specific state or area for content for the PBNs? Carrie, what I would do for the local stuff, there's two ways you can go. You can either go by niche and nationwide, okay, and you can even just go worldwide, because niche is kind of is going to be working well together anyway. The other way to do it is to, if you're doing it locally, is to think about doing maybe your money site perhaps as a sort of directory kind of site. It doesn't have to be directory in the sort of traditional sense where it's got loads and loads of links. You can do a directory where, have you ever seen those kind of sites where you've been searching for the best web hosting or something like that, and you find these little sort of affiliate review sites, and they've got these little stars like HostGator, we recommend this one, and Bluehost, and it's got 4 stars, and this one's got, and they've done a sort of mini review of those kind of different hosting companies. You can do something similar without the kind of reviews, or with the reviews. That could be made into a sort of mini directory, that kind of thing. That's the way I would do the money site for that kind of thing. And then you can build out sort of PBN sites per niche, all linking into that one. That would make it makes sense to be able to do that in the easiest possible way, so that you're not sort of twisting your mind trying to figure out, how do I fit this in here, how do I fit this in now. By doing the money site as a sort of mini directory like that, where you don't really need to have a lot of different links in that particular site going out, but you could be doing that in a way that's just per niche, and it makes perfect sense to have these sites linking in. Okay, if you're going to do that as well, and you had clients, I would definitely get the clients to link to pages on that site as well. PBN Masterclass, Mark, you need to go into my site and go to the products tab at the top, and you'll see the drop down menu, and it's in there. Okay. Okay, I can't see any more questions coming in because they're coming in a strange way. I'm finding them in the middle here. Martin, how many years ago would you say you started PBNs? I started doing them recently, but I used to do them before, but in a completely different way. I did according to SEO at that particular time. When you just say it's become more popular, I think it is not really become unpopular. It's just there's a spate of courses come out at the same time, teaching people how to do it, and everybody's got their own particular strategies. And I like to look at what they're talking about, because often you will find things that they haven't included, and it gives you more information by what is not there than what is there a lot of the time. I find that with softwares, I find that with courses quite often. So why has it become really popular in the last sort of year or so? I think if you look at products like OMG machines, you look at what Becker's doing, and he's doing a lot with PBNs. You look at what Hayden's doing, what John Haver and people like that, and Spencer Hawes, they're all talking about PBNs. It's been around a long time. It's not something that's just sort of suddenly popped up. It's just people were doing it before in a lazy way, where they were using those public sort of backlinking PBN memberships, and those were just not being managed properly, and that's why they failed. So it's much easier. I mean, it's probably cheaper in the long run to do the PBN really, really well for yourself than to go and buy a bunch of shiny toys for the next 6 weeks from WSO Land or any of those places. But, you know, people will continue to buy those kind of things, and it becomes, for some reason, becomes like this really, it becomes a hobby, and it becomes really exciting when you see the new stuff coming out. It happens to all of us, but you've got to be a little bit disciplined sometimes, and, you know, have a go, stick to it, see it through to the end, and make something that becomes an asset that you can sell if you don't want to use it yourself later. It's not hard to sell a PBN. Really should not be hard to sell a PBN. Okay. Okay. So I think that we've probably covered everything. So guys, this was the last week of the PBN Masterclass. I might do another similar course about WordPress SEO. If I do, I will announce it via the Facebook groups, via email, and the website and stuff like that as well. So I hope you got a huge amount of value from this. We covered a lot, and you know, there's a lot in here that I was actually keeping for the PBN Masterclass, but I decided to give it out, and the reason why was because I wanted people to be able to take action and not have that confusion. And all that means for the PBN Masterclass is that I'm sort of going to add a lot more to it than what I'd originally intended. And I don't mean that to say that, you know, I wasn't going to do that one very good. What I mean is that I'm just going to keep adding more and more value beyond the 6 weeks of that particular course, and we will just keep building it up as and when we see new stuff, and we'll take it a lot further for things like backlinking and stuff like that. So, you know, we've tried to make this as good as possible for you. I've seen courses that people spent hundreds of dollars that gave you less than what we have given you for this particular 6-week series. So if we do announce another one for the WordPress SEO, I suggest you get in there and get in there early, because I'm going to limit the next time. Because we had something like, it's almost 800 people registered. That's 800 people can access a whole bunch of content that, you know, I probably could charge hundreds of dollars for. And each week we've only been having, you know, about 100 or less people turn up. So what I will do the next time is I'm going to limit the number of people that can access it and get some feedback at the end, and turn it into a paid course at the end as well. So keep an eye out for that. And if it is something that you're willing to sort of go in and learn and commit to learning and taking action, then we do want you to be in there. Okay. So unless there's any additional questions, I think we can probably wrap this up. Okay, I think that's probably us. All right, guys, so I hope you really enjoyed the last 6 weeks. Hugh, Robert, thanks for being there in the background and helping us, and maybe we'll be doing another one quite soon. If you want to add anything, now would be the time, and then we can sort of wrap this up.
Thanks a lot, Tony. It was a great course.
Thank you. Thank you. Robert, thanks for your help again, for being there every week, making sure that we got these recordings done. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Tony.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. I'll get the replay in probably about Tuesday or Wednesday. I keep saying I'll do it on the same day, but you know, I got a ton of other stuff happening that always delays me. It'll be there definitely by Wednesday latest. Okay, so thanks for your time, and hope you enjoyed this training series. Bye.